Hi guys, and welcome back to another fly fishing video. So you find me on the banks of Ardaire Springs and I'm here for the Irish Angling Spring Fair. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Good day. I'm Hans from Klinken. I'm now at the Irish Spring Angling Fair in
County Kilkenny.
In County Kilkenny, and I had a good arrival yesterday. Wonderful afternoon, a lovely evening, and a good sleep. So I'm fit for today.
And what are you going to tie for us today, Hans?
I think most people want to see Klinkhammer.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
You know, I had a short period that I was really not in the mood to tie Klinkhammers anymore because every show, everybody came and asked me to do Klinkhammer. Yeah. And then I said, okay, I cannot disappoint the people.
Burnt out. You're burnt out for Klinkhammer.
Yeah, but then I realized the people, they come to see the Klinkhammer, and I'm doomed to the fly, and now I love to tie it.
Yeah. And what Hans is going to tie for us today is the original pattern.
That's what I got to do. The original one that I did invented in 1984.
Perfect.
Because I have so many variations, but it's good to start with the original one.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can just talk us through the hook and the materials you're using, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I started. The hook was specially designed for me by Partridge in the 80s. I think it was 87 or 88, and that was finally tested by me, and then Terry Ruane, who worked for Partridge, and Alan Bramley, they were amazed about the hook, and we had several prototypes. Some were only to fish for grayling because the trout broke the hooks, so they I keep for myself because I fished a lot for grayling, and then well, I used that till 2009 or 6 or something, and then Partridge was taken over, and that didn't work out so well. So I moved to Daiichi Hughes.
Yeah.
And they were exactly made as the blueprint. And the funny thing is, everybody copied that original one.
Yeah.
And
now there's lots of different companies make them.
There's not any more where you see copyright on on hooks, actually.
I think it's all very dubious, isn't it? The copyright on flies and stuff.
Well, I don't mind. I was only happy with Daiichi because they sponsored all my kit classes.
Yeah.
That was the most important for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to pay for the hook, so I could keep my kit classes for free.
Excellent.
Because, that's the most important, that kids don't have to pay anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think encouraging youth into the hobby is really important. Fly tying and fly fishing.
And that's the same way with Semperfly. I have, I think, 13 workshops in Finland this summer, and without sponsoring, I can do it. And Semperfly, when Wapsi, I had problems with Wapsi.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with the guys from Semperfly. And then they asked me if I would help them out, and I said, well, if I can do it as an ambassador, I would love to do it, but not at pro teams anymore.
Yeah,
that's too busy.
Absolutely.
And with an ambassador, you have more power. Like liaison or something. You know?
Yeah. Will we start the flying?
Yeah, you want. Yeah. That's a good thing now. The hook, put the hook in the vise, and then I set up the thread. I don't talk 2 hours how to set up the thread because that's not so crucial for me. But what I do is to cover the hook shank a little bit, so the wing will be not twisted.
Yeah.
So, and then I will use some polyarn, at least a light color, You can use also other colors. What the best is for you? The most visible.
Yeah, I tie mine with a pink post.
The whiskey coming.
Because I can just
Yeah. But
I can pick it up better on the water.
Yeah, that's for a lot of people who just okay. And the original one, the first ones were tied with the brown hackle. So in the beginning, I tied the hackle much smaller. But the fiber is more smaller.
Yeah.
But I figure out that when the hackle is a little bit longer, you get a bigger parachute.
Yeah.
And that caught more fish in the end.
Yeah.
So. So I tie always the hackle very early stage. So and now I have all three space to tie a nymph actually underneath the parachute because it's an emerger. And I make it as a copy of a hatching caddis larva on the point of hatching.
And do you always use a big size hook like that?
Yeah, because this was the larva I found in the stomach were actually as big as a hook size 6.
Yeah.
But I cannot use that in public tying.
Yeah.
Because Alan Brumley they gave me a size 6, size 4 and 2 for my birthday.
Oh,
Every
okay.
year I get 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
And so you cannot demonstrate on hooks. Materials are not available.
Yeah.
That's important for me. So now the body is free. Then I bring the thread to the bag and I turn a little bit the hook so I can go a little bit deeper. And then I take my Wonder Wax. I love this spool. You see, this is quite full.
Yeah.
And this is 30 years old.
Soft wax, is it?
Yeah, sticky, very sticky.
Yeah.
And even with where is it? Oh, here. With the fly ride dubbing, you see, it's very, very, very nice. You don't actually need you don't need wax because it dubs very, very, very nicely. But I always use the wax because it
Just
makes
habit.
it easier. Yeah. Yeah. See, then, and what I do that was very important is to start winding the body, but I don't stop. I keep on going like this. Then if you stop, then you get not so nice body. You see?
You lose the flow.
Yeah. It's like tied in a flow, and if I want to make it tie it up a little bit, yeah, that's okay. And if I left some over, I can go in front, like this.
All right, Jimmy. How's it hanging?
Okay. And then I tie some peacock hair because the old versions are tied with peacock hair, and the new ones I do with the synthetic peacock
Yeah.
because of the green.
The peacock herald's quite brittle, isn't it, and breaks?
No. Well, the problem is this is a synthetic I use in nowadays flies because it's the best synthetic dubbing on the market. You see,
Yeah.
very, very nice colors. Because the green peacock is highly endangered now.
Oh, right.
The green peacock, and then I cannot when I in the plane I cannot take the real peacock anymore because I have to prove if it's green or blue peacock.
Ah, right.
And the blue peacock is not endangered,
Yeah,
but the green one is.
yeah.
And then if you have peacock, imagine you were in America. And
Yeah,
you're
they're very hot on it there, aren't they?
And then nowadays they put you in jail.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've actually heard of prosecutions.
Yeah. It's the same with New Zealand, and some countries do very strict. And you know those people, they get the orders
Yeah,
from from their bosses, and you know they get order and they just do it. You know, otherwise maybe they lose their job or whatever. But that's my biggest worries for the future.
yeah.
All the natural materials, and that's why I love Semperfly, because they make so many synthetic materials.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of the companies are now going over to synthetics.
Yeah.
Which
Because
is a shame because
well,
I really like working with feathers and
Yeah, but-
natural materials.
and the most beautiful is with natural material. But the Klinkhammer actually had the first wing was with calf tail. But
Yeah.
I don't like calf tail as wings for parachute.
No.
And because it's very bulky underneath on the body, and it gets waterlogged. If you catch a fish and it
Yeah.
plays for a long time, then you hardly can get the fly floating again. That's
Yeah.
why I turned to synthetic wing,
Yeah.
and that's more durable anyway. So and then I do the thorax like this. I like a big thorax. See? Good finisher. Okay.
Okay.
And what's that you've got there, Pats?
Yeah, this is just varnish in here.
Okay.
It's my own recipe. So I take cellulose
Yeah,
and dilute it with aceton,
yeah.
50-50.
Okay.
So it's very liquid and it
Liquidy.
dries in a minute.
Yeah,
So that's important. Actually, for the Klinkhammer, a varnish applicator like this, it's only 99 cents or so, and this is the most important tool actually to secure the parachute.
yeah.
And when after I've used, the lacquer get into the windings, get into the peacock harrow, and yeah, it's actually very durable. Then I have pictures of Klinkhammer. I got 50 fish fit. The whole body, the thorax is off,
Yeah.
but the parachute still works. So now an important stage is to turn the hook in the vise, and I switch to a thinner thread.
Okay.
That could be nano
30 denier?
20,
denier.
24. Oh,
Yeah.
or spider web. Spider web is even thinner.
Did we stay fucking away from us last night? Because if you don't go in, the first time when he came down, I mean, smelling good. Yeah?
Yeah. I think the people are so enthusiastic to see me tying this Klinkhammer.
I'll bleep all that swearing out later. I bet you Scorsese doesn't have this problem, Mel.
Pardon?
I bet you Scorsese doesn't have this problem.
All right. So, And now I just tie it up with my whip finisher. This is actually the whip finisher, special made for tying off parachutes around the wing, you see?
So it's got a wider gate.
Yeah. And this is why I use this the spider web, because it doesn't get the fibers underneath the thread. And then actually the fly is ready now, but also a little lost improvements with tying, cutting off the fibers that pointing downwards. So, and then I take my little comb. See, then I make the wing nice. I cut it in the right length. See? Okay. And then I take this and so. Oh. All right. Okay, and that's it.
Perfect.
You see, I start to remove shit. It's starting 3 days ago. I don't know what it is.
Superb. Hans, I see you've got a table full of books. Could you could you tell the people about the new books?
Yeah, I feel quite famous on it. Because it took me a long time. There was a lot of delays because of medical problems, and I first wrote it together with Leon Links, and then Leon had some complications also medically.
Yeah.
And he said, Hans, finish the book by yourself, because I already have books written in several languages. So
yeah.
And I talked with the publisher, and it was 3 months after I sent it in, it was all ready, because I had it all.
You had the bulk of it done.
Well, I had made the layout already in InDesign.
Yeah.
And so the layout lady from Samplefly was from Merlin was so happy, because everything was
laid out. Yeah. That's perfect. I've not had a chance to look at it myself, but when I get 5 minutes, I'll come and have a look.
Yeah.
But, Hans, thanks.
Really should, because everybody who bought it, they wrote me messages
really
back when they started to read. And most famous comment was, Hans, when I start reading with one chapter, I can't stop until I finish the chapter.
Fantastic. Hans, thanks very much for doing the fly, and I'll be sure and check out the book later in the show. Yeah. Thanks again.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to competition angling, log style. I'm here at Ardaire Springs, and what I would like to talk about today is competition angling, and in Pacific, international competition angling. The first thing I want to talk about is, how do we pick an international team? Well, in Scotland in particular, we have what we call a club system. And the way the clubs work is, they will plan so many outings a year, and at the end of the year, they will have a club champion, a runner-up, and a third place. These 3 top places can then go into the national championships. So that's the top 3 from each club can enter the Scottish National Championships. What they've got to do then, they've got to pick a venue for a prelim, they've got to pick a venue for a semi-final, which can't be the same as their prelim. And then they've got to fish their final heat, which is normally on the Lake of Menteith in Scotland. The way that works is, on the prelim, 50% of the field will progress to a semi-final. In the semi-final, it sort of gets cut down and you're looking at about a third going forward. And in the final, the top 18 anglers will be selected for the team. An international team has 14 anglers. Now I know what you're saying, Jock only says 18. The reason for that being is Scotland run a system where they keep the top 5 rods from the international to carry them forward to the next international. But they have to be in the top 20% and they have to be in the top 5 of their country. And when I say the top 20%, it's not the top 20% of Scotland, it's over the whole 4 nations. Then what happens is they will be divided into a spring team or an autumn team. There will be 14 anglers in each team. Now a thing I'd like to point out here is it's not a men's team, it's a national team. Women can fish in the prelims, semis and finals and qualify for the national team. After saying that, the ladies do have their own national team. So that's the process that we go through to pick a team. Once a team gets together and they get to their venues, then what they've got to do is they've got to then come up with a plan and how at the end of the day they can walk away with a gold medal for Scotland. And there's a lot of hard work put into this through fly tying, team meetings and a lot of hard work actually on the ground. So, once we reach the venue, and we'll take Loch Melvin for example. Scotland will have a map of Loch Melvin and it will be broken down into areas by numbers. You'll be given a boat partner for the day and you'll also have a boatman for the day. In Ireland it will be an Irish boatman because the boats belong to the actual boatman on the day. You will be sent to an area and you'll be given numbers, an area to practice in, and this will be identified by numbers on the map. For example, you may have to practice in this area in the morning and you might get sent to an area that you particularly do not want to fish. But this is a team game and you have to try your best in these areas. And in the afternoon you might find yourself in a different bunch of numbers at the opposite end of the loch, lake or reservoir. What happens then, at the end of the day, each team member will have filled in a sheet like this. And on the sheet it will have the fly that you caught your fish on, the size of the fly that you caught your fish on, whereabout on the cast you were fishing that fly, the line that you were fishing, the retrieve that you were fishing. On the sheet it's static, slow, fast, figure 8, strip, and you'll just circle them. At the bottom of the sheet is the numbers which relate to the numbers on the map, and you will put the amount of fish that you caught as near to a number as possible. So 14 members will have 7 boats out practicing. In the evening, what happens then is we'll have a team meeting. The admin team will grab these sheets. They will formulate the results on the sheets. Each pair on the evening at the team meeting will stand up and they'll talk us through their sheet. And they'll say, I was fishing in area 5, 6 and 7 and we caught 5 trout. We caught them on this fly, on this line, on this area. And then what happens is there will be a big master map on the wall and we will mark each individual fish by a coloured dot. For example, on day 1 all the dots will be red, and they will get marked on, and we'll go through the process with the 7 competition boats. This happens each day, so we're generally there for 3 practice days. So the same process will happen on the second day. You'll have a different boat partner, and you'll be sent to different areas of the loch, lake or reservoir. And you can, as you can imagine, and then when you're at the team meeting, the dots get put on the map. They're a different colour. So that will be day 1 red, day 2 blue, and the same process for day 3. As you can imagine, on day 3 we're starting to formulate a plan, and we can see what areas of the lake, reservoir or loch the fish are holding in quite clearly. We know by the information that we've gathered on our spreadsheets that the best 2 lines or 3 lines is a fast glass, a slow glass or a mid-stick. And we'll know what flies are working in what areas, and we'll know when and what time of the day these flies are working on. So on the match day, each angler in the competition has a good game plan. Now what you've got to remember is you're going to be fishing with somebody else from one of the other countries, and they've got a game plan as well. So the way we get around this is we flick a coin on the morning of the match to decide who's going to be in control of the boat for a stunt of 2 hours. So if you're lucky enough to toss the coin and win the toss, you are the guy in charge of that boat. Now what does that mean? That means you can sit on the bow or at the engine side, you can change over when you want, and you can fish the area of the loch reservoir that you want. The only stipulation is the person you're fishing with has to have fishable water in front of him. After the 2 hours, what happens is control gets passed over to the other angler in the boat. Now he can move you from one side of the lake to the other side of the lake. He is in total control for 2 hours. The match time is normally from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock. One of the things I have noticed though is when we fish an island, we stop for a small break at lunchtime, and we normally go ashore to stretch the legs, have a pee, let the boatmen get a cup of tea and that. But that's a local rule, and that gets decided on the day. Now that we've come up with the team plan, every team member will have a fly box. And in this fly box it will be numbered from 1 to 10, 1 to 12, it doesn't matter. Each team member will probably carry something in the region of 4 or 5 identical patterns, and they will be placed in the rows here. We don't want hundreds of flies, we just want 5, 6, 7 different patterns that people are confident to fish and will fish. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you can only fish these flies that you have decided to go into the box. If your boat partner is catching fish on a fly that you've not got in, there's no reason why you can't go into your box and take a fly identical or similar. The idea is you want to put fish in the net. And these rows are all numbered, and the reason they're numbered is you can say to one of your team that's passing, I'm catching all my fish on fly number 1 on the top dropper. People go into different codes and for different lines. In Scotland, our procedure is we're getting them on a floating line, we're catching them on fly number 1, and we're pulling, we're figure eighting, or we're stripping. There's no confusion, it's nice and straightforward. Now the beauty of fishing in a boat is mobility. On this table here you can see that competition anglers do carry quite a lot of equipment. The beauty of that is we're in a boat and we're not carrying it like the river fishers or the bank fishers. So all this equipment is in the boat, so we do tend to carry a lot of stuff. We do tend to carry a lot of stuff that we necessarily wouldn't be carrying on the bank.
What's it saying?
And in the box, just stand there guys, in the box you'll see that there is probably 20 odd lines, because they're in here as well and they're underneath as well. And the reason we carry so many fly lines is because a boat is a drifting platform. And what we want to do is we want to get our flies in the zone where the fish are as quickly as possible. So, this is where this wee chart comes into account. The way this works, it stops you from having to work out how fast, how long it's going to take you to get to a certain depth. For example, I'll just put my glasses on. If you're fishing a DI5 and you decide that you're getting your fish at 5 seconds, how deep is that? Well, on a DI5, 5-6 seconds is round about 2.5 feet. And it's a nice and easy way to work it out. So if you want to catch fish at 5 feet, you know you're looking at 14 seconds. And it's a nice simple way to work it out. We also carry a stopwatch which sits on our boat seat, and we know when we're counting our line down, if we're counting it down for 5 seconds, well, we know exactly what depth we're going to be at. So that's another wee piece of equipment. So that's the numbered fly box, the line chart. These reels, these are what we call cartridge reels. Spools, sorry. And they go onto these type of reels. The beauty of that is these are nice and cheap and they're nice and easy to change. This is where it all goes wrong. So you take it off, quickly select what line you want, on you go, onto your reel, job done. If it's a line change, line off, place back in the box, different line, onto your spool, onto your reel, job done, ready to go. This is all mounted on your rod already. Talking about mounted, we're only allowed to have one rod set up to fish. We are allowed to carry a spare rod, but it can't have a reel on it, and it's got to be in its case on the boat. But we do carry it just in case we have a mishap and damage a rod. Other nice wee bits of kit that we carry is a good pair of binoculars. The reason we carry binoculars is if we want to have a look around the reservoir, we can pick up our boat's members and we can go and speak to them. If they're having a hard day, we can identify them and then go and speak to our team members. Communication is one of the biggest things on the water. It's so important that you keep in touch with your team and don't become isolated. And that's where a lot of teams go wrong. All the way down to club competitions, team club competitions. International flies have got to be a certain size. And I'll just tell you what these sizes are. I have to look. So, the hook size can be no bigger than 5/8, and that means it's got to be in between the two small black lines on this card. If it touches them, it's too big. The overall length is 5/16, and there's 2 lines on the card as well. If the fly tie material touches the black lines, it's oversized. Flies can't be weighted. They can only be I think the heaviest thing you can use is like a wire, and it can't be touch and turns. And I think that's really about it. I'd like to wind up now But if you've got any questions, feel free to get in touch. And thank you.
Well, I'm joined by two of the Irish team here. It's Lewis and Henry, and they've both just been presented rods by A.Jensen in cooperation with Ned Maher, who runs Ardaire Springs here. So, lads, how did you get into fishing?
I started on the stock lakes, just mainly spinning, and then just advanced on to the fly. How I got help from a group, Frog CIC, which is a foul river outdoor catchment group.
Right.
It helps youth get into mainly fly fishing.
Aye. So how long have you been doing the fly fishing then, Lewis?
About 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years?
Yeah, so not very long, but...
I'll need to come for some lessons. And what about you, Henry? How long have you been doing it?
I've only been fly fishing now 3 years properly. I did a wee bit up in Loch Fay with my great uncle, just doing sort of stocked rainbows up there, just doing a wee bit here and there, pulling lures and stuff. But
Aye.
sort of started fishing and spinning on the wee stock lakes, just like one behind us there too. So
I think in Ireland you've got lots of waterways and
Yeah.
stuff where you can go and get into fishing.
aye, yeah, it's good.
And the access is good, isn't it?
Aye, yeah, like the Meolas, my local river, there's a whole stretch about a mile long. You can just walk up to the bank and just walk down to it. Like, it's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. So where are you going for the World Championships?
Idaho and the United States.
Wow.
But we're fishing in the surrounding states as well.
Aye.
So, Idaho Falls and Snake River, Henry's Fort. There's 3 river stations and 2 lake stations.
Oh, that'll be a fantastic experience.
Definitely, I can't
And I'm
wait.
sure it'll bring your fishing on in leaps and bounds as well.
It'd be great, especially learning from Sean and Frank too.
Yeah,
Campbell.
and the team's well supported. Hopefully, and that's what's required. You know, you need a lot of support, especially when you're travelling that amount of distance.
Yeah.
Well, listen, lads, I'll let you get back to the rest of the boys, and thanks very much for talking to
Thank
me.
you.
Thanks very much, son.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Take care.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you. Well, Ned, a year.
Back
It's
again
been
for another year,
It
yeah.
doesn't seem like a year,
No,
but
no.
the time goes over fast, eh?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
another show, and it's grown in popularity already. I've been in
Yeah.
the tent quite a bit, and it's so busy. I just hope the microphones have picked up the sound, and we can get a feeling of what it's like inside the
it's
marquee.
definitely a lot busier this year. There's a big crowd around, and
Aye, and I think we've had great weather for it. Haven't
yeah,
we?
look, the weather is fantastic.
Aye.
That's
It
perfect.
makes a big difference because
For
then
sure.
not everyone's rammed into. I think
Yeah,
last year the weather was a bit dodgy and we had a lot of people in the marquee.
Yeah.
Not so many folk out on the lakes.
People can wander around at their leisure and see what they want to see
Aye.
inside and out. Yeah.
And I think this year you've done an amazing job publicising the event.
Yeah, well-
It's been absolutely all over Facebook, and I believe you were on the radio the other day.
Yeah, I don't know how I managed that, but I did anyway. Got a couple of minutes on national radio, so
Ah, fantastic.
yeah.
And I think what you're doing here, and I feel like a broken record because I say it every year, but you're getting the kids fishing, and I
Yeah.
believe you've just had a deal with the Irish youth team, helping them out with A.Jensen rods and stuff.
Yeah, we done a sponsorship deal. It was a joint effort between myself and A.Jensen Fly Fishing, so all the chaps going to the World Championships got 2 rods each. So
Aye, that's
yeah.
fantastic. Like, I mean, as a competitor myself, I know how much it is to travel to these events,
Yeah, it's
and
a lot of
every
expense.
little thing helps. You know, getting a couple of rods will be a huge
Yeah,
aid
yeah.
to the lads going to compete in America.
Absolutely.
And I did have a chance to speak to a couple of the young lads, and I think they're quite excited about the whole thing.
I'd love it to see him doing well now, and hopefully everything goes good for him.
Well,
Yeah.
I was amazed at how long they'd been doing fly fishing, actually, because I was expecting them to say, 6 months, a year, but
No, they're
one of the
dedicated.
boys there, 5 years he's been at it. I thought, God.
Yeah, they put in an effort and fair.
Aye.
Yeah, and they have a great background team behind them there, you know, so
Aye, plenty of coaching and help.
Yeah.
And I
Hopefully
think
they'll
that's
do
so
well.
important, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
where do you see the show going in the future?
Well, look, hopefully we'd like to keep building on it and keep the crowd coming and get a little bit. We don't want it to get massive or anything. It's just if we can keep tipping away as we're going and
Yeah.
just.
Well, you've only got so much real estate, I suppose, haven't you?
Yeah. With the marquee, we can make it as big or as small as we want. I suppose,
Yeah.
But that's one of the pluses of the marquee. Other than that, we'll keep tipping away at it.
Yeah, I think because you got the lakes, it is spread out, isn't it?
It is, yeah,
The
yeah.
people are spread out. If
Yeah.
you got them all in that marquee, I think you'd be struggling
We'll
a
be
bit.
struggling a bit, yeah. It was like there's kind of so much going on around the lake. It spreads out
Yeah.
between the demos and the kids fishing and that.
there's plenty of activities outside for people as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's. I think I've said this as well. There's something for everybody at the show, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's absolutely superb. And thanks again for. I know you're really busy.
No
and people
problem.
want your time, and I'm taking up your valuable time. So thanks very much, Ned.
No problem.
I really appreciate it, and hopefully it'll go from strength to strength.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Guys, if you're enjoying the videos or you're getting any enjoyment out of them, please don't forget to give them a thumbs up. It really makes a big difference to the YouTube algorithm, and it helps me grow the channel and encourages me to make more content. That said, let's jump straight back into the action. Peter, it's great to be back here in Ireland. It seems like just the other day we were chatting about the business and how you've got to be at everything to turn the business over.
Absolutely, yeah,
So
great to have you back over.
What's been happening then?
Oh, sure, since we last talked, Lindsay, it's been non-stop, go, and that's the nature of fishing tackle and fishing business, you know yourself.
Absolutely.
You never stop moving, it's like a river.
I keep a weary eye on what you're bringing out, because you're always innovating and
We're
trying
always
to bring
trying
new stuff to the
bring
market.
new stuff, we've new ideas and, you know, different things, and and that's part of the game, though. You got to keep evolving.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
got to keep moving forward and keep pushing boundaries and try and make everything better and try find another way to come up for a buck
And
or
it
two.
was great. So I arrived here yesterday evening and Peter was busy setting up the massive Piscary stall. I don't believe how much kit you managed to get over and get set out, and you fit it all into your
I know,
shop back
it's
at
when you
home.
see it laid out, like, it's just amazing, isn't it? Like, how do I actually get this into place at home? Like, but look,
Absolutely.
you make it fit, and you got to have the, you know, when you're doing these shows, and I'm kind of a thing, when you do these shows are super important. We spoke about it before.
Yes,
previously.
absolutely.
They're super important, and, you know, if you're going to support them and come to them, I say, go all or go home.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do a show, I'm going to bring everything, I'm going to, you know, set up the stand, I'm going to take an extra couple of days and do it, because, you know, it's a way for us to, it sets up our whole year, these shows.
Yeah,
This is our whole year right here now on the weekends. We meet our customers, we say thanks, we shake their hands, we meet new customers. And then you see other gear, and then that sets us up for the whole year. So,
One of the key things is, especially capes, I would say, is the most important thing. You want to get your hands on a cape. You don't want to go online and order a cape, and then when it arrives, you're really disappointed because you've looked at some photograph that isn't the cape you'd get.
Yeah, it's absolutely it. Or pick up a fly rod and have a cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to someone, give you a bit of advice.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of fishing guys, people that are out there buying online, and it's hard to get good advice sometimes, and you end up wasting money on the wrong product or the wrong tool or whatever it may be. Or at least here, they come, they have a chat, and they come with an idea and say, I want to do this, or I want to do, you know, fly tying or fly fishing. I say, actually, you're actually heading the wrong way there.
Yeah.
Let me just show you the right way. And then, you know, you save them a couple of bob or whatever it is, and they're going away then happy. So these shows are great, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
really busy this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good crowd.
It's been quite difficult to film because there's that many people and they all want to be getting into the stands and stuff. So
it's been good. It's been good. Now, weather helps, of course.
I thought that's why I've come over at lunch. I thought lunchtime would be a bit quieter, but it's not been really. But you've got something in your hands.
Yeah, so we're always doing new stuff, and we always like branding. Obviously, it's a business for us at the end of the day. It pays the bills, it pays the wages, and we've just brought out a whole new tool range. So we got all the individual tools, all branded. We get it made, really high quality stainless steel, all branded, done lovely. And this is our latest kind of addition to the Piscary Fly range of stuff we build. Yeah, and they're lovely kits. Good quality, and we've all the single stuff. And you got a couple of different sizes. You know, if you're starting off or whatever else, and because it's our own stuff and our own brand, we can offer them at a really good price then as well. You know, so you got kids starting out, they get the full kit there, really reasonable stuff. So it's great, like, you know, come up with new ideas, said new product, and that's the evolution of the game.
Fantastic.
So, you know,
it's great to see you pushing forward, and I'm going to come back later and do some shopping. So thanks.
No worries, Lindsay. Great having you over again, and thanks a million for all the support. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Fantastic,
brilliant.
mate. I'm joined by George Mcgrath and the Shure Guru here, they call you.
That's what some people call me.
The River Shure is apparently one of the best, and many of the boys have said it's one of the best trout streams in Ireland.
Not only
Europe.
Not only in Ireland, Lindsay, but it goes so far as to say probably the best in Europe.
Yeah.
It was described many years ago by someone back in the 1920s. I can't remember exactly who it was, someone quite famous, who said it's probably the finest trout fishing in the kingdom when we were still under British rule. I don't know, I can't remember who he was now, but that was that kind of stuck with me. It's a brilliant river, but like most rivers, it's got its issues and its problems due to modern
agricultural problems, and I don't know what the water companies are like here in Ireland, but certainly in England they're having real issue with raw sewage being pumped into rivers. It's a problem.
Absolutely.
That needs to be addressed.
We have a company here that was founded called Irish Water Uisce Éireann, and they have received 6 billion since their foundation, which is not that long ago. And our water quality has actually declined since they've taken over.
And you know what? The thing is, George, is I hear this everywhere I go.
Yeah, it's sad.
We're not progressing, we're going backwards.
Yeah, it's sad,
And,
but still, the shore still provides great fishing.
Yeah.
Now, it's not anything like as predictable as it used to be. You could almost set your watch one time by the appearance of certain hatches.
Stuff,
that predictability is gone, you know.
I think climate is changing, and that's affecting the hatches.
No question about that.
Yeah.
So,
but George, you tie all manner of flies as well. I was watching you tying a big streamer pattern yesterday. Would you fish that kind of pattern on the shore?
Absolutely, yeah, and they're very effective at the right time, like any fly. You know, if you get, say, the favourite time would be if you got a falling summer flood. And then the big fish, you can get the big fish on the streamers, you know. But like, you catch big fish also on small flies. I've caught big fish on very, very small flies on the shore. But the shore trout are renowned. They're not easy catch.
No.
They're difficult to catch.
Well, they're the kind of, that's why we go, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The challenge of it.
The challenge, exactly, yeah. So it's a fantastic river, and like I say, there are some issues with it, but the fishing is still spectacular at times.
Yeah.
You know,
you've just got to catch it right. And folks, you might recognise the beard because, George, you have your own YouTube channel.
I do indeed, it's called Gundog Fly. I have quite a few subscribers now, much to my surprise, 19,500.
Well, I'm always surprised. I'm like, why do people watch me? It's I'll link that website to, the YouTube channel in the description of the video below. And thanks for taking a couple of minutes just
Not
to
a bother
speak to
at all, Lindsay.
We've had to do this before the gates open because the floor's really bouncy, and once the crowds come through, it's just
camera be all over the
juggling. And yesterday it was really busy.
It was indeed, great day yesterday.
We'll get finished up, and I'll let you get ready for the people coming in the door.
Much
Thanks
appreciated,
very much,
Lindsay. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay.
Well, we're at day 2 of the Ardaire Springs Irish Spring Fair, and how's it going for you, Scott? Sorry, I'm joined by Scott Mackenzie. I dare say he needs no introduction. You're fairly famous in the fly fishing world.
It's famous or infamous, one of the two, somewhere in between the two maybe. Fantastic show this, it really is. It's really well put together, and what a fantastic venue it really is. It's down at Ardaire Springs, you probably know, and the massive trout fishery
and massive trout, Scott. I think you've had a couple of yourself off the lakes.
I had a couple of really good ones in the double figures, but they've had them here over £20 the last couple of days, and they're in here nearer 30. So there's some huge trout in it. So it's fantastic for the kids as well. There's a big kid pond thing going on where they can fish and catch loads of fish. So it's a fantastic venue. It really
absolutely real focus on youth, isn't there?
Focus on youth, and luckily we've got the weather. It's always you never know when you organise these things what's going to happen. We've been blessed with good weather, and there was a fantastic atmosphere yesterday. Really fun, really
I find that's a real trait of the show. It's a really friendly event. People are very welcoming, and there's lots to see and do for everybody. But talking about good weather, sometimes the weather's not so good when we go fishing.
Absolutely.
And it's really important to get the right items of clothing. And last year, Scott, I remember seeing you'd released a new range of clothing. I just wanted to ask you about your thought process behind the layering system that you've incorporated into the brand, and how it's gone so far.
It's gone really, really well. It genuinely has.
It's very stylish.
It has. I've been on the go a long time. I was a gillie for over 20 years, and I've been in the fishing world for a lot of years. I'm blessed with having a really good pro team behind me. The design team at Mackenzie, the core design team, have got over 150 years riverbank experience just in the core design team. So we've certainly, we should know what we're talking about. We've got the experience to back it up, and the time spent on the rivers, getting cold, getting wet, and all that. And if we say in Scotland, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing.
Absolutely, it's an old saying for the army.
So we put together a clothing range and a layering system within that. There's probably 4 layers. We've got the base layer, which I've got here. Now what we've done is we're the first company, not in the world, but in the fishing and shooting world, to incorporate graphene into the clothing. What is graphene? Well, graphene is the lightest, strongest material known to man. It was discovered at Manchester University a few years ago, and it's an amazing material. What it does we've got really practical, quite stylish product we really have. But with the graphene, what the graphene does, and even the big major brands in the mountaineering industry, skiing industry, will all tell you who pioneered the use of graphene. We pioneered the use of graphene in fishing rods. We're the first company in the world to put it into fly rods about 10 years ago, with FX1s originally. Now we're on the FX2s. Award-winning. We're on the BBC International News and everything. When we launched it, it was groundbreaking for us. In the clothing range, what the graphene does, it's the best electrical and thermal conductor there is in the world. So by wearing this, what it does, it spreads the heat around your body.
Yeah.
And you know, it's almost unbelievable when you say to someone, it'll actually warm you up or cool you down by 15%. Up and down, it can distribute the heat around your body.
Like regulate your temperature.
And regulate your temperature.
Very thin, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the base layer here is very, very thin, very comfortable to wear.
Yeah.
See, as I've got it on here. So it's going to take the heat from like under your arms where you're hotter and circulate that around your body. So you're sweating less. There's really good anti-wicking properties with it, so it takes the moisture away from your body, and antibacterial, so you don't sweat or stink.
It doesn't smell. And we all know when we've been fishing for the day, you do start to have a certain aroma.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's really good, very stylish, very practical. You know, little things like on the cuffs, we've got the holes here, so it stops it slide up and down when you're casting. We've got that in all our garments. This is the puffer we've got on here, but we've got that in the base layer. Then we move into the mid layers, slightly thicker fabric. So the idea is that you would, if you were fishing somewhere, maybe bone fishing or summer fishing, you could have that on. If you wanted a bit more warmth, you could put the mid layer on. This comes with a hood, with zips and without zips. So there's different garments within the range.
Right, so you've got that sort of flexibility with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. The zip on this one is actually, it comes up and you just got a wee porthole with a hood, but the zip is off your face. It's not coming right up, so you don't get the cold
so it doesn't
zip.
annoy you.
Absolutely. So a lot of thought is going into the whole product.
It's little things like that people don't think about, isn't it? When you get these things and you buy, I mean, they can be quite expensive. Fishing garments, and suddenly you're like, I don't like it.
Absolutely. If you've got a zip and it's rubbing on your nose and it's cold as well, it's off-putting. So again, through experience, you know that a zip here is better having a zip. A little thing, but it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, I've not heard that. It's a good idea.
A lot of thought's gone into this. On top of that, you could have the puffer. The puffer is got the same materials and mid layers round the side here. That's also for wear, but also for stretchiness. When you're casting, you're a lot more flexible. Got the graphene fill within the puffer. We've got a wee sample of the graphene. So we've got, this is polyester. All the garments here are 75% recycled material. It's come from the fishing nets and stuff in the sea. So it's a real big environmental thing going on if you're kind of into the kind of...
You know what I can't get over with these things, Scott, and I've got I think it's a Patagonia something. But similar is how much heat such a thin garment can produce.
Absolutely.
It keeps you really toasty, doesn't it?
Keeps you toasty, but will also cool you down as well. So it's regulating your heat. So you're not sweating as much, but you're very comfortable in it, and you just won't take it off. That's the problem. You wear it all the time. You don't realise you've got it on. It's fantastic. A lot of things going on again with the stitching. We've got the stitching here that's quite close together. That's to keep the fill closer together. When you've got wide stitching, through time the fill can drop down slightly, leaving little gaps. But having the stitching slightly closer together keeps the fill in place. So again, a lot of thought.
I think mine's starting to do that actually. Just exactly what you said.
They will. So it was good that we've all been fishing for a lot of years, and we can all see it's the same when we did the rods. Little things, first thing we did when we did the rods, I'm the first company in the world to do a triangle rod tube.
So it doesn't roll round.
So it didn't roll round the car.
Everyone's onto that now.
Yeah. But I thought alignment dots, we're one of the first to do alignment dots on the rod. So rather than the guests in the morning trying to put the rod up in the half dark or the wind or the rain.
Some mornings are worse than others,
Absolutely. And so just two wee dots, one on each side of the black, and little things, but
Aye.
attention to detail make a big difference, and
Yeah,
it's very much
absolutely.
that ethos has been now taken into the clothing range as well.
Yeah, it's a good looking jacket as well. Isn't
Absolutely, it's stylish, it's warm, it's comfortable. So you can have your, again, in your layering system, you've got your base layer, you've got your mid layer, you've got your puffer,
Yeah.
and then we can move on to the jacket. Very, very proud of this garment. It really is, again, massive thought going into the whole design of this jacket. Firstly, it looks really good. It really is stylish.
The colour matches the rest of the range, doesn't
Absolutely,
it? Yeah.
absolutely. A huge amount going on. Straight away, the zips, the YKK zips, best zips, quality zips in the world. Where do I start with this?
Diving suits use YKK suits.
Yes,
Dry suits and stuff. They're all,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we really start at the cuff, here. Some of the cuffs you get in other jackets, they've got the little bit that sticks out here, which catches in the line. Life's too short for them.
Aye.
It just drives you mad. It really does. So with this, you've got the tighten it up for your cuff inside. You tighten that right up. And
you're not getting water running up your arm.
You're not getting water right there. Then it's scrunchy, you can pull that back round and it's all tucked away in there.
Aye.
It's
And on a cold day, once your hand and your arm's wet,
once water
it's
gets
downhill
in.
for there, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is highly waterproof, one of the most, if not the most waterproof jackets on the market today. It genuinely is, but also very breathable. So you can have a garment and everyone goes on about how waterproof it is, but if it doesn't breathe, you sweat.
And then you're wet.
And then you're wet.
And you'll cool down quick enough in the cold winter months.
So you want a garment that's highly waterproof but breathable.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of companies struggle to get. If you went back in time, you had the old yellow oil skins,
I was going to say to you, Scott, we're of the same age,
Absolutely.
so you remember, like in the good old days,
Aye.
you had your woolly jumper on, and once you got wet, it was time to go home.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these garments, oil skins, you wouldn't let any water in, but they sweated in them as well, So you wanted a garment that's very waterproof, but highly breathable. That's really important. We've got side pockets here. They go right down really deep. Also the hand warmer, when you put your hand in, you've got the hand warmer pocket in it as well. So it's a 2-in-1 here. That pocket goes all the way down into here. On the front here, you've got your 2 breast pockets. You get a really large fly box in here, no problem, on each side. So the pocket's huge. And you've also got what we probably call the poacher's pocket at the back. What we weren't sure, do we put the pocket in the back? And what we decided was yes, because if you've got something like the puffer here and you're walking somewhere and you can stick that in your pocket.
A friend of mine's just bought quite an expensive jacket, and he's going, it hasn't got a ring for your net, and he wants me to sew one in. So I was like, I'll do it, but it's something you've got to consider, isn't it?
Absolutely. Attention to detail at all times. Again, designed through experience and designed by fishermen for fishermen. On the hood here, we've got what we call Rico system. What is Rico system? Rico system is a tracking device, so God forbid if you ever needed it, when you buy the jacket, you register the jacket with Rico. If you went missing, something happened, they can track you anywhere in the world, as long as they know roughly your location, which country you're in, narrow it down slightly. There's a tracking system in there by satellite, and they can find you anywhere in the world.
That's unbelievable.
So
that's amazing.
Absolutely. So this comes mainly from the mountaineering industry and the skiing industry. And some countries now, in avalanche areas, you're not allowed in a hill
without them.
But even here in Ireland, I know a lot of boys be buying a jacket here. They go maybe bass fishing down on the coast, and they're down in the rocks. You might not get a phone signal, bad phone signal, and God forbid you fall and you break a leg and you're down at the side of a cliff somewhere or whatever.
Absolutely.
This can. It's only an emergency. It's not. You're an hour late home for your tea.
And you know what? I'm looking at it here, and you hardly notice it.
Oh, you don't notice it. It's just
you would never know it was there really, unless you'd said I wouldn't have known. It just looks like a logo.
Absolutely. The hood tightens in both the side and on the top, so you get a perfectly fitted hood. Again, I've peaked it so the water runs off onto your hat, not again onto your face. So a lot of thoughts going into the whole
the
garment.
other thing, one of my personal gripes with these waterproof jackets is scratchy on your neck. So when you put them on, you get that. But you've got a nice felt.
Absolutely.
For the comfort.
Comfort again, and it's all with the whole Mackenzie brand. The whole thing is about experience, and we've been there. We've been in the cold days, we've been in the wet days.
Aye.
I was on the riverbank, for 22 years, a full-time gilly guide. So I've gone through all that.
Aye.
Good days and bad days.
Well, as I said, we age together, so we both know the discomfort. And if you're not warm and comfortable while you're fishing, you'll not be out there long. And what you've done with your layering system, and the progress we've made in recent years is absolutely amazing. And the thing is, it means you can get out there and enjoy your fishing for much longer. Scott, thanks very much for taking the time.
Don't bother.
It's great, and I'm really impressed with the brand. It's fantastic.
It's going well. So, but no, great show, it's all good.
If you've not come this year, I would certainly recommend that you make a visit to the show next year.
Absolutely.
You won't regret it.
Ardaire Springs, I say we said it earlier, but it is a fantastic fishery, and he's got all the products here. He's got everything for sale, all Mackenzie rods, lines, and the full clothing range is all available here at Ardaire Springs.
Yeah, Ned's actually got a tackle shop, hasn't he, on site?
Yeah, absolutely, a very good one.
I think he's got a website as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And I'll link the website in the description below the video.
How's it going, guys? Johannas Bulfin here from Watershed Fly Fishing, A.Jensen Pro Team member. Just wanted to show you the Lucius 9-foot 9-weight rod, and I'm very impressed with it. Really, really nice rod. And just go through a few casts and show you how it works. So on this I have the A.Jensen Pike 8 to 10 weight reel and their Pike musky line floating. And it is very easy to cast. It's very fun, and I'll just show you. So the line has a 8.5 meter head, so it's a very aggressive taper. It turns over big pike flies very, very easily. And I'll just fire off a couple of casts here. And you can see it shoots line so easily. It is perfect for pike fly fishing. And I know there's some huge rainbows in here in Ardaire Springs, so we're not expecting to get a take on camera, but you never know. And yeah, so what more can I tell you about it? It's has a matte blank finish, which is nice. I like it, and it's ideal. It really is. It makes fly fishing for pike absolutely effortless. It's perfect. It's at an unbelievable price point for the quality of rod that you're getting, and I highly recommend you get one, to be honest. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the water sometime soon, and I'd be delighted to take you out and you can run some A.Jensen gear. I have a lot of their rods, 9 foots, 10 foot, or sorry, 9 weights, 10 weights. I have their trout rods as well, Ignitas, trout tacticals. So I'd be delighted to see you on the water. Best of luck, guys. Thank you.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to day 2 of the Ardaire Spring Angling Fair here in Ardaire Springs, Muncoyne, County Kilkenny. After a seriously successful day yesterday, we're more than anxious to get going today. We've had a lot of demonstrations and talks going on over the last day, and today will be something similar. But what I basically do is, as a pro guide, my name is Maurice Cahill, and I'm one of Scott Mackenzie's pro team members representing him here in the Republic of Ireland. And basically what we do is we try to get people into the double-handed fly casting, but most importantly for the people who are into it already, we try and get them to alleviate some of their casting faults when they come to us for little clinics and little talks. So basically what I'm going to be doing here is just for a couple of minutes, just showing people the kind of do's and don'ts as regards dealing with wind. This morning we have a brisk breeze blowing from my left to my right, and a lot of people struggle with breeze and wind, and they struggle with the fact that they don't seem to be able to place the fly line in the right direction for the direction that they're casting in. And a lot of people get what they call these tailing loops and things like that. And really what we have to try and do is get it into our head where we have to control the path or the destiny of the fly line as we are landing it on the water. It's very important. Now I'm concentrating here on a patch of water right next to me off my right side. It's basically a rod length away from me, So this rod is a 13.6. So roughly 13 to 14 feet outside of me, I have this line that I'm creating right here with my direction of my cast because of the wind, the prevalent wind that we're in. So, as you can see, the line is kind of facing across at a 45-degree angle, and if I place this line in the same place every time and concentrate on that line and concentrate on that direction, I shouldn't, by right, suffer from these dreaded loops and tailing loops that you get and knots on your leader. Because the last thing you want is a knot on your leader when you hook into that fish of a lifetime after maybe more than 1,000 casts. So I'll just show you what we do. Basically what we do with the cast is we do a very slow but deliberate lift. And once this cast commences, this is the snake roll, and once this cast commences, I don't really stop and pause until I come to my D-loop, and then I'll project the fly line with a bit of power going forward, a bit of a push-pull setup as regards the power and the stroke for the rod, but a definite stop on the forward stroke that helps to deliver the fly line well out over the water.